I think sometimes people tend to ignore the culture and be like, oh, I can just live there. But when you like the culture of a country, it makes it easier to like accept some things that comes with how the people may behave later on.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
So everything has its positives and negatives.
Yes, it does.
If you just like the culture,
You can easily tolerate the negative things if you like the culture.
right. Do you like Korea?
Yeah, I love Korea.
That's why you're here, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sean. So in this video, I'm here in Sinchon in Seoul, and I'm talking with foreigners living and traveling here. What makes a country a good place to live? What makes it livable? What makes it comfortable? What makes it desirable to come to? There are so many aspects that contribute to this, and I'm so excited to see what people have to say. Also, I want to know, how does Korea fit into this whole conversation? Also, if you're currently studying English, I highly recommend you check out my website, seanteacher.com. You can see my main series, 미국인 션의 여행 마스터. I go over really important things like immigration, ordering in cafes and restaurants, asking for directions, stuff like this. Click the link down below to watch a free sample. Without further ado, let's begin. Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Napoleon Honor and I'm from Nigeria.
What originally brought you to Korea?
I came here for studies on a scholarship.
What are the most important things that make a country a good place to live for you?
I think the first thing I considered is safety. And also if you like the culture in general, because I think sometimes people tend to ignore the culture and be like, oh, I can just live there. But when you like the culture of a country, it makes it easier to like accept some things that comes with how the people may behave later on.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
So everything has its positives and negatives.
Yes, it does.
If you just like the culture,
You can easily tolerate the negative things if you like the culture.
right, makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. Do you like Korea?
Yeah, I love Korea.
That's why you're here, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
So you're more easily able to accept everything about Korea.
Yes, I'm easily able to accept it, and even if it's like a little bit hard at first, I just like tell myself the reason I came here, just remind myself why I'm here, and then it makes it easier to just be able to go by the day.
Hey guys, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Adelina. I'm from the USA.
My name's Jenna. I'm from Australia.
My name is Han. I'm from the USA as well.
What brought you guys to Korea?
We're all studying abroad at Yonsei University.
My main thing is weather. In Australia, we have really nice weather. Like, I feel like you can walk out any time of the day and you'll be fine. Well, like compared to Korea, I'm like always sweating here. So
I would say like cost of living is really important to me. Like I think it's so much cheaper here than America. America's terrible.
The cost of living is a little bit unbearable.
Yeah, it's getting really bad. And like now I'm starting to think of moving out of the US.
So somewhere that has like a nice ratio of value to cost.
For me, it's walkability because I'm from Houston, so everyone drives cars, there's no walking, and I hate that. But in Korea, everyone walks everywhere. The public transport here, so the subway station's so clean and good, also as well as the buses, and I feel like everyone's very like respectful of like the space around them. Everything is very clean, which is what is very important to me because I don't ever get that. So I feel spoiled here.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
I am Tyler. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
What brings you to Korea?
I have a lot of friends here. I have studied abroad here, and in just a few short months, I'm actually moving here to be an English teacher. One of the reasons I love Korea so much is the buses are always on time, the subways are clean, and I think having a really good, friendly society that's open to a lot of new people is good as well. So every time I've come here, I've had a very good experiences with even the elderly as well. They've been very nice to me. Sometimes they give their seats up on the bus for me, which was really unexpected.
Well, that's really nice.
Yeah, and then just all the new friends I meet, you know, people come up to me in the street and kind of do things like this, which is awesome, yeah. And also just being able to have a good work-life balance. I know that may not be the most achievable in Korea, but I've seen with a lot of startups and stuff like that, they're aiming for more work-life balance. And with this newer generation, we really pride ourselves in having a good work-life balance. So I think things will start to shift in the coming years as well.
My name's Ainsley Starr and I'm from the US. I think safety is really important,
Okay.
as well as price of living. Just like paying rent and stuff like that, a lot of places are more expensive than here. It's very cheap to live here in comparison to the US, and I think that's why a lot of Americans move here.
That's why a lot of Americans move here. Because the cost of living in America is
Yeah,
just
it's so expensive.
Insane, right?
Yeah.
Where in the US you from?
I'm from North Carolina, Charlotte.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
bad there too.
Yes, it's bad everywhere.
It's bad everywhere.
Yeah.
So you think a lot of Americans are trying, at least especially young Americans, trying to live in other places with the number one goal of cost effectiveness? How much value can I get for my dollar?
I don't think it's the number one reason that people leave, but I do think it's a big part in where they pick what country to move to.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have an older sister.
She in the U.S.?
Yeah, she is.
She didn't want to leave.
I think if she could, she would, but she has a good job right now, so
Economic,
gonna leave that,
once
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Roni. I'm from Nigeria. I'll first of all say like the cost of living has to be very affordable, especially for students. In case, as students, there are times when you have money and there are times when you don't have money. Also, the employability, that's another thing. And then I'll also say sense of community. Are there people of my kind in that country? And I would also try to see, even though their life is not perfect, because of course I'm a foreigner, I'm a black person in an Asian country, the lifestyle is going to be very different.
You're black?
Yeah, I'm African.
Just kidding.
The lifestyle is going to be probably harsher on me than it would be any other race. So I'll try to see if it's bearable or if it's totally unbearable. So.
Hey guys, how's it going? What are your names and where are you from?
My name is Quinn. I'm from Canada.
My name is Yoon and I'm Korean. I grew up in Shanghai, China.
Really well.
School.
Have there been any places you went to live or you've experienced that have been had deal breakers? I could visit, but I couldn't live here.
I lived on an island for a while out on the west coast of Canada. Even off of Vancouver Island, there was another island called Quadra. And it was so small that they didn't have buses. The grocery store closed at 7 p.m. every day. It was nice for the tranquility of it. I think I really enjoyed the quietness of it at first. And then you get to a point where there's not really a lot to do. It's really hard to get anywhere if you don't drive. In order to get just about anything, you would have to take the ferry back into the mainland, which gets expensive once you start paying for ferry passes all the time. Lived there for 3 months and then I was ready to go home.
If it's cold, I won't go there. I hate any cold weather. So I haven't been to most places in Europe or anywhere north really. I just hate cold.
I would say if I can speak the language or not. Here, I expected a lot more people to speak English, but I've struggled with that a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so are you planning on learning any Korean?
I'm doing a Korean course at the moment. Yeah, but it's
taking a while.
It's a bit slow. Yeah.
I think a large factor of it is how foreigners are treated. I would say foreigners are treated pretty well in Korea. There's always going to be some divide just because of cultural differences, but I've made plenty of Korean friends, and I think especially among young people, they're treated very well. If they weren't, though, I think that would be a deal breaker for me.
I think for me, I would say government.
Government?
Yeah, because I think it's very important to understand how the government works, because the laws and everything still just revolves around the government. So if there is very, very bad government in the country, I don't think I would like to go there because later on I might be affected by it.
What about communist regimes? Could you live in a country like that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Deep surveillance state. Okay.
That's crazy.
might be tough. Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no matter how long you live in Korea, even though you are married to a Korean, you will still always feel like an outsider. Which, to me, I think it's a mystery. I think there's something behind it. And don't get me wrong, I have friends who are married to Koreans, who have given birth to Korean children, and they still can't enter certain spaces. They still can't feel entitled to certain things just because they are foreigners. So I think a deal breaker for me would be, imagine living in a country for 15 years and still being regarded as a foreigner.
Dream city, where do you want to end up living? Is that Korea maybe?
For me, as of right now, I think it might be Korea.
Wow.
It's not my first time here. I was here for 3 months last year, just finished up my first semester of university.
Sick.
And I think I've only fallen in love with the city more. I could really see myself settling down here and having a life here.
How does Korea satisfy these priorities for you?
I definitely would live here. I like it. The weather's nice. I know in the winter it gets cold, but that's anywhere.
You're willing to forgive that?
I'm willing to forgive it.
You can go on a trip for
I can go on a trip in the winter. But
The whole winter?
I mean, when I think back to my answers, it doesn't really fit, but I would still live here because, cost of living is really good. Yeah, there's so much to do here. I feel like you'll never run out of things to do. I feel like if I stay in Seoul, I'll be fine. I can't go Busan or something.
Jeju.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the city. Seoul's very beautiful, very amazing.
So all the things you find to be important, does Korea reasonably check those boxes?
Yeah, I think Korea checked the boxes
Okay.
for a lot of things I find to be important.
So you see yourself staying here for a bit longer?
Yeah, I think I see myself staying here for a bit longer.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Something that's really nice about Seoul is you can get just about anywhere in about 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it runs quite late, so if you want to go somewhere
yeah,
a little bit later at night, it's really easy to get there.
And even the cabs, compared to the US, cabs are much cheaper here.
Yeah.
That's why I love China so much.
Okay.
Because transportation is a fraction of the price that it is here. Cabs.
Even Korea?
Yeah.
Korea's pretty cheap.
I know, and it's
Even cheaper.
It's even cheaper in China, and it's more accessible because I'm sure the government subsidizes it. I'm sorry, like I know we're in Korea, but this is what I know.
Every time I come here, it's usually a month or longer, so I'm very used to being here for a long time. And I come here alone too, so that's another thing. It needs to be comfortable for people to be alone in places.
Great point.
I found out that being here, I'm more comfortable doing things by myself and really expressing myself than I am back home in America. I feel a little lonely when I'm doing things by myself.
It's a culture that's very supportive to people going out on their own,
Yes.
whether that be eating, cafes, or like drinking, even maybe alcohol.
Yeah, and that's a great way to make new friends, especially, you can just go out to a bar or something and you'll end up meeting people there who are also alone, who want to talk to you. Language exchange cafes, people go there by themselves a lot and end up making a lot of new friends.
What are some of the things that were kind of difficult to get used to?
I think the main thing for me is the trends. So like everyone tends to follow every trend that comes. And for me, it was kind of shocking because it's like, oh, I'm here and the community is here, basically. Everyone is doing the same thing and then I'm here doing something different. And for the trend, I think I'm talking about drinking and smoking, especially in the university situation.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's like common, especially when we have like outings, everyone is doing that and it's just me in one side not drinking, not smoking.
You're just in the corner alone. No one's talking to you because you're like, oh, this loser. She's not drinking. She's not smoking.
Yeah, it's like she's different from us. So because of that, it's like the pressure can make someone to start doing those. But I just had to stay true to myself and be like, I don't have to follow the trends. I
Makes
can
sense.
still be myself. I actually own a brand right now in Nigeria. So I would like to promote it and actually start a branch here in Korea later on. Helen's Vogue, we make bespoke pieces for women.
Definitely a lot hotter than where I'm from. It's about 35 degrees today, which is killing me. And the humidity is something that I wasn't prepared for. It kind of feels like you're breathing soup air. Like it's just like so around you all the time. That was something that I thought I would be prepared for, and I really was not. The heat is insane.
Yeah, I grew up in Shanghai, so this is normal for me. It usually goes no,
Goes
it's like
hotter than
40 to
this.
45 degrees Celsius.
No way.
Yeah, and it's humid. It's like the air is just burning your skin. This is definitely hot. Like I would not. It's not hot.
Not hot.
Yeah.
Korea is a perfect tourist destination spot. It's a perfect spot for you to stay in, enjoy. But the more you stay, the more you leave, I think the more sad you become, because especially also being an African, I've never been jealous of African Americans. But like being an African and being from West Africa plays a huge factor. And even the international spaces are wanting American-based educators. If we are not studying something relating to foreign-centric spaces like marketing, international relations, if it's more niche, like nursing, education, things where like most of these courses are taught in Korean and not Korean and English, please think twice before coming over.
So overall, you're enjoying your time in Korea?
I do recommend people to live here. I love it.
I love the city. Seoul is very beautiful, very amazing. There are some Koreans here that are like very like welcoming as well, which I like. I guess it does align with my answers that like Seoul is a very livable city. It has like everything I would want. Maybe don't come to Korea in the summer. It's really hot.
Don't come from July to August.
Yeah.
So hot.
Come during spring or something like that.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Sean, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I watch a lot of movies and stuff and Netflix and YouTube. And I learned something in Korean, and I'm like, I've lived here for 11 years.
Yes.
That's the first time I've seen that. 꼬리 좋다. I'm like, 꼬리 좋다.
Yeah, a lot of expressions.
That was a hard expression. Why is it so hard? Like, what does 꼴 mean? Like, hey guys, how's it going? It's Sean. So in this video, I'm here in Sinchon, Seoul, and I'm asking foreigners, what are some aspects of the Korean language that make you a little crazy? I'm also curious what they like about learning Korean. Also, if you're currently studying English, I recently opened a new YouTube channel called Sean Teacher. I explain a lot of really useful things in Korean, I give lots of examples in English, and I show lots of clips from American dramas and American movies to show you real examples of real English. A little bit later in the video, I will show you a small sample of a video I made. Without further ado, let's begin. Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm from Russia. My name is Nadia.
What are some aspects of the Korean language that make you a little crazy?
Colors, because in Korean, unless you get to like a certain level, you don't know that there is like a 벌겋다, 밝았다, 누렇다, 노랗다. So it's all, you know.
Colors are ridiculous, right?
I know. There are a lot of new words these days as well. All the slang words and everything. You never get that in Russian. Well, I mean, we do have slang words too, but all the like the short form of everything, impossible. We don't have that in English either, kind of.
줄임말.
그러니까.
Yeah.
We don't have that. They shorten everything. I feel like it's just one of the languages that changes a lot.
카카오톡.
카톡.
Then people just say 카톡. And now they just say 톡. So it's like 톡 주세요.
Yeah.
준비되면 톡 주세요.
Yeah.
Instead of 메시지 주세요 or like,
yeah, you're like
문자 메시지 주세요.
Exactly.
Or, hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Judy and I'm from France. They use so many different words just to say the same thing. A simple example, but say thank you. 감사합니다, 고맙습니다, 고마워요, 고마워. I know there is the
politeness.
Yeah, even when you say 감사합니다 and 고맙습니다, it's the same language politeness. There is no difference. And there is so many words like that.
진짜 아주 정말 되게 엄청 허벌나게. Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Ada and I'm from Maryland in the US.
What brings you to South Korea?
I'm studying abroad for the summer at Yonsei. I think like all the different like honorifics and like getting all the like structure right, sometimes it like drives me a little insane trying to remember like politeness and everything.
Right, like 뭐 하십니까? 뭐 합니까? 뭐 하세요? 뭐 해요? 뭐 해?
Yeah, there's so many different ones.
뭐하냐?
Yeah, like when I'm talking to like the taxi driver, I didn't add like the yo at the end. Like they got like mad and stuff.
What'd you say to me?
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Polina. I'm from Russia. Yeah, my name is Vika. I'm from Russia too.
What are some things about Korean that kind of make you a little crazy?
Old sentences you should build from the end to the top, like this split. I still trying to do it in my head, but it's really difficult. And second, I think it's how you should sound in Korea. Like in English, it's so open. Every sound, your pronunciation is really clear and open with open mouth.
So the mouth
big
shape,
lid,
you're
yeah.
opening your mouth like, hey guys, how's it going?
And Korean is difficult because you need to do like really small amount.
So instead of like 아니잖아, 아니잖아.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's why sometimes I feel really uncomfortable because I'm trying to do 맞아요 and then 맞아요. 네. 감사합니다. Yeah.
When you speak in Korean, you're speaking from the back of your mouth, right? It's like the sound is coming from the back and the lips are like this. So if you talk English like that, it sounds kind of
really
weird.
Really awkward.
But at the same time, like the Korean language itself was made using the shape of the mouth that you make to pronounce a letter.
Yeah.
So, you know, it kind of makes sense that it's related in some ways.
Ma.
Right,
is that a square?
right, yeah. Genius.
Oh, how is that shape? Oh.
It's all because of the tongue positioning, right? So that's why. It's like your teeth, your tongue, all of that stuff. All thanks to King Sejong.
Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
I'm from Israel.
I'm from the States.
What brings you to Korea?
My mom's Korean, so I wanted to visit here, like, and learn the language and the culture.
I'm an English teacher, but I'm also studying at Ihwa.
What are some things about the Korean language that make you a little crazy?
When they take English words and you have to say it in a Korean accent because they will not understand you in an English accent.
Like what?
ABC Mart, so it's ABC Mart.
Okay, a little confusing.
Yes.
For me, I think Nopingmal is really confusing. I feel like I'm having to learn the language twice. And a lot of times I'm at the level of Korean where I can speak in a conversation pretty easily, but then as soon as I'm in like listening to the news in a business sense, I have no idea what's going on all of a sudden.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating, but it's just because it's not in my language, you know.
Do you think it's the same with people learning English? Like if someone is learning English and they're talking to an American at the bar versus watching the news, do you think the language spoken is different?
I think it is different, but I think it's less drastic of a change.
One of the most powerful ways to learn a new language is to learn it through stories. Let me give you an example.
한국에 온 지 얼마 안 됐을 때였어요. 저녁에 배달을 시켰는데 포장을 뜯는 빨간색 플라스틱 도구가 같이 온 거예요. 이게 뭐지? 했어요. 미국에선 한 번도 본 적 없는 거였거든요. 근데 한국에는 그런 게 있어요. It's a thing in Korea. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
그 빨간색 작은 플라스틱 칼 다들 알고 계시죠? 이젠 저도 좋아해요. 근데 미국에선 그런 거 없어요. 아무도 몰라요. It's not a thing in the US. It's not a thing. 그런 게 없어요. It's a thing in Korea. 어떤 문화나 그룹에서 당연하게 존재하는 걸 말할 때 이렇게 말할 수 있어요. Oh yeah, it's a thing. Why is that couple wearing the same clothes? Oh, that's a thing in Korea. It's called couple look. If you like this kind of lesson, click the link down below to check out my new YouTube channel. I know it's going to help you to upgrade your English. Now, let's continue the street interview. Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Mia. I'm from Korea. I'm a singer in Korea. My artist name is Mio.
You, even as a Korean,
Yeah.
what makes you a little bit crazy about the Korean language?
Even, I myself is a Korean, but I would always have to check ChatGPT. 띄어쓰기 and 맞춤법, that shit. It's just, 띄어쓰기 in like English or like Japanese, they don't 띄어쓰기 at all.
Because with English, it's just like the space is at the end of the word.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, how are you? Space, 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 right?
Yeah.
Korean, it's like
할 수 있어요. Like this, like 수. And I think for foreigners, 받침 would be really like difficult too, because sometimes they're double and like be shield, like
어젯밤.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of movies and stuff and Netflix and YouTube, and I learned something in Korean, and I'm like, I've lived here for 11 years.
Yes.
That's the first time I've seen that. 꼬리 좋다. I'm like, 꼬리 좋다.
Yeah, a lot of expressions.
That was a hard expression. Why is it so hard? Like, what does 꼴 mean? Like,
yes.
like this is so frustrating sometimes. I love Korean and I love like learning it, but like I learn new stuff all the time. Like 사돈 난말을. What was that one?
사돈 난말하다.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's so hard.
So many like idioms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Good. My name is Joshua. I'm from Chicago.
What's something that kind of makes you a little bit crazy about the Korean language?
Honestly, it's the double consonants. It's very tricky sometimes learning that t, that ch, that it's a lot. You have to be very vocalized, like to really know how to enunciate that difference. So also when you're learning like that, like past tense, that future tense, it's very like tricky because like a lot of people here that I've noticed, they don't really use that. It's kind of just like informal. So they teach you a lot of like formal Korean, but it's not really used as much.
That's such a good point. So it's like you should say 내일 학교 갈 거야.
네.
But people just say 내일 학교 가.
Yeah.
But it's like, shouldn't you say 갈 거야? So like what people actually say and in the textbook what is taught is different. Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Dirk and I'm from Germany. The particles and iga, and when to use and when to use iga.
Really tough.
That's just learning by doing, I guess.
Learning by doing. You just kind of got to memorize the situation.
And just try to do it the same as the local people do and then hopefully get it right.
Right.
Quick. Oh God. That's the thing though, double consonants. Sometimes impossible to hear the difference for us, for foreigners.
Yeah.
We try so hard to pronounce the word, but it still doesn't work the same perfect way as it is for Koreans.
What do you really like about the Korean language?
The pronunciation, the word all seems so cute. Alphabet
Yeah.
is
Hangeul.
really easy. Yeah, Hangeul.
Really easy to learn.
Yeah.
How quick did you learn that?
I only need 1 day.
1 day?
Yeah.
You can read everything easily?
Sometimes I need time.
I really like how it sounds. I think it's like really pretty, kind of like.
What was it about Korea or Korean culture or the Korean language that drew you to want to live here and study here?
I really liked the like collectivist culture kind
Yeah.
of here. I think people are just like polite and considerate here, like, and like they think about other people and just like it's kind of like integrated into the system, like with the buses and like having the seats that are like for like pregnant people, or like just like little things like that.
I really like how it sounds because of Russian language, and I'm a Chinese teacher, so I know
You're
Chinese.
a Chinese teacher?
Yes.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and Russian and Chinese sounds short. It's like двойла, чила, да, okay. And Korean, it's like 안녕하세요, 감사합니다. It's really beautiful, I think.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Ali. I'm from Texas, and it's very hot today. I learned Japanese first before I learned Korean. So speaking Korean, my accent isn't that good, but I'm still learning. I did learn that it has like a more rounder sound compared to Japanese, in my opinion. So like igo, jogyo, like it has like you have to shape your mouth a certain way.
Softer, rounder versus Japanese is like harder.
Yeah, and more like precise.
Or like hitting a drum.
Yeah, kind of.
Korean is like you're making a pottery out of clay. It's like round and beautiful and smooth. Okay.
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of. I like saturi. I think that's really interesting. It sounds really cool. I like the Busan saturi. I like how even this small country has such a different, diverse buffet of different accents.
True. We don't really in Russia, despite how big it is. We don't really have accents.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, we
No
don't.
way. What do you love about learning Korean?
Well, I love that I can connect with people, first of all. I mean, that was the main reason I learned the language, so I can talk to people, make new friends, learn about the world and different cultures. I think, too, what's specific about Korean, or Japanese is like this, too. People sound very kind and polite. Like in English, everyone's kind of sounds more casual. And although I'm not necessarily talking nopingmal, but just like the phrases and expressions, I think people are very warm here.
What do you think is beautiful about Korean?
A lot of expression, you know? Like a lot of ways to express situation or like my feelings.
What's an expression that you think is so beautiful but you can't really say it in English?
어이없다.
어이없다.
어이없어. If you think of it, like there's no expression in English, right? Can you think of it?
This is such bullshit. This is so dumb. Like,
Hard to explain, you know?
But I also used to study a little bit of Japanese before, and the Japanese have 3 writing systems. So compared to that, in Korea you only have to learn Hangul.
Yeah.
And I also think that Chinese would be harder. So comparatively, I think Korean could be considered easier.
So it's tough compared to European languages,
Yes.
but compared to Chinese and Japanese,
I think
maybe
it's
one of the easier ones.
Yes, and just the sound of Korean is also kind of interesting. I think every language has their own kind of sound to it, and in the beginning I always described it as like kind of a waterfall. They just talk.
So it's
Like-
more flowy.
Yes, exactly.
Are you enjoying your time in Korea so far?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's way better than France. Of course, I enjoy it.
Better than France? Why do you say that?
It's really colorful here.
Colorful.
Like, yeah. In France, everything is black, gray, white. Here, everything looks more joyful.
I just really love it here, and I'm so thankful that I was able to come.
Right on.
Yeah.
You enjoying Korea?
So far, so good, yeah. The only thing I'm complaining about is the heat.
Yeah. You see yourself living in Korea a while longer?
Yeah, for the time being, I love here. And I'm so used to it and everything is so comfortable. Like, how can I go back and not use my Kakao Pay and everything else? Like, it's impossible at this point.
What am I going to do without my WOW coupon membership?
Oh, impossible.
I really love living here. I think compared to America, even though there are some things I don't like, in general, my life is much better here. I meet wonderful people, and it's really cool.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. Did you enjoy it? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Sean, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
My name's Kaelan. I'm from Ireland.
You feel safe here?
Korea is very, very, very safe.
What are some examples of things you can do that make you feel safe here?
On a pretty much daily basis, I see Koreans do the stupidest things imaginable. Koreans will leave like an iPhone 16 Pro Max on a table for 20 minutes to hold their place outside while they go to the toilet or go shopping or something. I was at a market a month or 2 back with a friend, and I was like, oh, hey, Claire, your handbag's open. And she was like, yeah. How else would I reach for things?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I just mean like someone might pickpocket something. Or just like, oh, I forgot you're European. You guys love committing crime. And I thought, I suppose from that point of view, yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sean. So I'm here in Hongdae and we're talking about crime, safety. Why is Korea so safe? And the bigger question, why do Asians just seem to commit less crimes? In fact, this claim is backed up by some science. In South Korea, the rate of homicide per 100,000 people is 0.48. That's nearly 12 times lower than the rate in the US, which is 6.8 per 100,000 people. But even in the US, among Asian populations who only make up around 6 to 7% of the population, Asian people only commit 1 to 2% of the violent crime. Another interesting study compared dropped phones and wallets in New York City to Tokyo. 88% of phones dropped by the researchers were handed into the police by Tokyo residents, whereas just 6% in New York. For wallets, 80% of Tokyo wallets made their way back, and it was only 10% in New York. So now let's find some people to talk to about this topic. Let's do it. Hey guys, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Diana and I'm from Sweden.
I'm Alex, I'm from Sweden.
What brings you to Korea?
Vacation. I was an exchange student here, 2018. Since then I've been coming like now and then to visit.
Do you feel safe in Korea?
During the day, yeah.
During the day?
Like right now I feel pretty much safe.
Yeah.
Like I can, if I'm at a cafe, I can leave my bag and go to the bathroom. I would not do that in Sweden. During the night, I don't know, not alone.
Not as much.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Liv, I'm from England.
What brings you to Korea?
I'm actually studying at the moment. I'm just here for a year studying, so.
You feel safe here?
Yeah, massively. Like, I'm from London. For me, like, I couldn't go out at night on my own. It wouldn't be safe. But like here, I've done that loads of times and I feel fine.
I recently watched a video which went over a study that showed that Asian people still commit crimes but commit far fewer crimes, even in other countries outside of Asia, for example, where I'm from in the US. I'm wondering if you can speculate as to why you think that is.
I feel like there's a level of respect. Like, for example, like here, you never see litter anywhere, but there's no bins. Another thing, like, you don't get really graffiti here. Like, there's some, but you don't see it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird when you do see it.
Yeah.
But elsewhere there is. And I do think it is just like a respect thing. It's deeply ingrained in like the culture, in the language.
I'm not too like aware of the statistics, but I'm also wondering if like the amount of cases being reported might be less. Like when I was here on studies, like we went out a lot and clubbing and stuff. There were some friends getting drugged.
Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
It happens.
You've heard and seen it. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey guys, how's it going? What's your names? Where are you from?
It's going great. My name is Melissa and we are both from Germany.
My name is Jolene.
You feel safe here?
Last time we were here, we had kind of both sides.
Oh.
Because my phone got stolen. In the club, it got stolen from my handbag 5 minutes after we entered the club. It was this bag, actually. And
the
it
same
was
bag?
Like, yeah, it was the same bag. My phone was like this.
Just like that?
Like that. But I had my hands above it.
What?
And I went to the toilet and came out and there were like a huge group of people and I couldn't pass because it was so packed. So I had to put my hands like that to go through the people. And in those 5 seconds I had my hands like that, my phone was gone. It was gone.
But the good part is we got it back.
We got it back.
Is that that phone?
Yeah.
It's that phone.
And I think you will never get your phone back unless you're in Korea.
We kind of got in contact with the dude who found my phone. We called him and he was like, he found it on some random playground in Hangeul. And yeah, he drove 2 hours from Incheon actually because he lived there to bring me back my phone.
Yeah.
What a hero.
But overall, I do think that it's pretty safe here.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey guys, I'm Pashkino Mitchell. I go by Pash. I'm from London.
Pash, you got really cool style.
Thank you, man. I had to show out for Korea.
Yeah,
everyone looks like they're cool and fresh out here, so I'm really matching the vibes.
Is that the reputation that Seoul has?
Yeah, from what I can see, and like when we watch K-dramas and you see it on TV, everyone's always looks put together, looks fresh. Yeah, the city looks like a cool city. It's super futuristic, super fun. So I'm happy to be here.
Do you feel safe here?
I feel very safe. And walking around, I went out last night, I didn't feel like anyone's watching me. Even walking around, like most cities I go to, I get stared at. Especially in black, probably, if I'm being totally honest.
You're black?
Yeah. You didn't notice? No, I'm playing. But yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, that's how it is around. And that's what makes me feel comfortable. Instantly, like getting around, traveling, subway, it just feels, everything feels safe to me. Yeah. It feels nice. Yeah.
Were you concerned about that before you came in? You're like, ah, shit, people are going to be kind of like rude to me.
Kind of. So when I went to Japan and Thailand, it's been like very like warm, welcoming, super nice. So when I came here, I weren't too sure how I'd be perceived, but yeah, like people are super warm, welcoming. Like the other day, I got lost on the train. A nice lady like literally helped me out. She was like, "Where you going?" Barely spoke English, but she got me to my destination safely. So yeah, it was heartful.
Warms the heart.
I feel like they're a little bit similar to Germans because they really like to stick to rules, and there are just unspoken rules in this society that they just all follow along. I think that could be a reason for less crime.
Are Germans rule followers?
Yeah, very much.
Really?
It's getting less. It's getting less over time.
We've got a lot of rules we have to stick to. A lot of rules.
Super clean city. That's a big indication for me where you feel safe is a super clean city.
So you make a connection between the cleanliness of the city and the safety.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? It's like a level of organization?
Level of organization, one, but it's a level of care for where you're living. living. So you care about others around you. So you're not gonna pee in a corner or throw a cigarette somewhere, or
you're following rules.
You're following. There you go.
But I think maybe for Asian it's also that the self-image that they want to present to others, because I think that's really a high topic here, how you present yourself to others. And maybe doing crimes is just not fitting that picture.
Do you think maybe poverty has something to do with it?
I mean, there are homeless people here just like in Germany. There are people here sitting on the street begging for money as well, and still they do not go into the stores and steal, as it seems, because the crime rate here is lower than, for example, in Germany. So I don't know if that really is a part of that, because then technically those would be the people here that would have to do the crimes, right?
You're smart.
It's not just hot air, there is a little bit in there.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
So my name's Patrick. I'm from Shanghai. It's been pretty good today. Thanks for asking.
Cool. How do you speak English so well?
Because I went to international school back in Shanghai and also go to college in the US. So that's, I think, the reason why I can speak English quite fluently.
What brings you to Korea?
So me and my friends here, we're traveling to Korea. We just arrived yesterday. This is our second day here because we want to explore different Asian cities, different Asian countries.
You like the kimchi, the Korean barbecue, all the soups and stuff?
All the things. I'm a fan of every single one of them.
You feel safe here?
Very safe. We were wandering around the street yesterday like midnight, 1 a.m. And we felt very safe. But that's a common thing for all the Asian countries, at least Asian countries, I would say so.
You feel similarly in Shanghai?
Of course.
Yeah.
Even more safer in Shanghai.
Is that right? Now let's continue the video. There's an interesting documentary I saw, and it was about a guy who was lending money, kind of a shady guy, but the way he would get people to pay him back was not by physical threats, not by anything like that, but by the threat of shaming them. About telling their family, about telling people around them, you know, this person has a lot of debt, and that would often get them to pay back the money. What about the shame of dishonoring your family?
I think maybe that's more of a thing that maybe happens here.
Asian thing, yeah.
Yeah, because like back home, like, nah, I don't think my parents care.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, she's going away again? Okay, nice.
I'm wondering if that affects the crime, because they're afraid of shame. They don't want to do something that would bring shame upon them. But then at the same time, there's a lot of self-destructive tendencies here. I won't get into that, but
yeah. So I think that's the difference. So we will go outwards. They're going inwards.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Theo and I'm from Belgium.
In the US, there's actually a much lower percentage of divorce with Asians. Maybe that has an influence on lower crime.
Oh yeah, because less problems in the family.
It kind of makes me think about marriage too. Maybe even a bad marriage could be still in some ways better for the kid than divorced parents. Because I think a lot of Asians will stay together in an unhealthy marriage just because that's the culture.
Each member of the family tries to fight for the relationship. They might not think about, oh, everything is happening in this family. He has his problems, I have mine, so we divorce. But they are thinking about, we made a commitment, so we are gonna focus only on the commitment.
Yeah.
And so we are gonna try to work together. Hopefully they can make it work.
I know this is talking about divorce now, but it's related to crime. It's better for the kids to be in a healthy family, obviously, and they commit less crimes. I think a lot of people do divorce because they think, oh, this is the way it is now. It'll never change. I have to divorce. But actually, even if you're unhappy in a marriage, it can get better. You can improve. And so maybe a lot of Asian couples, they experience that. Maybe it's bad for a time, but then they get older and they become more of a healthy couple. And it's better for the kids. Less crime.
Less crime. I think if they fight, that gives hope also to the kid.
Of course, having like a abusive alcoholic father is always bad too. Maybe there are some times to end a relationship. Are your parents together?
Yeah.
You think most parents in Shanghai are together? Yeah. That must have a positive influence on the child.
Of course. So I was born and raised in a very, happy and very coherent family. So I've been raised very well taught by my parents too, and they are very nice to each other. So that definitely influenced how I grew up.
Yeah, there's so many things that could be. People talk about, like, say, Buddhism or whatever. It's because there's no crime in East Asia because everyone's a Buddhist. Well, there's also no crime amongst Koreans who are Catholic, right?
Right.
So like it could be lots of things. It's hard to separate it down. I'll say probably in the US, you see, like guy who's homeless in the street causing a nuisance or something, I think even legally, and it's very difficult to move that person. When you do find like homeless people here, for example, on a metro station, they're the most tranquil, like stay out
Isn't
of the way.
that interesting?
Like, if do you ever have like people like approaching you and being like, hey, give me like?
Never.
I never get that.
I go to the train station in Washington, D.C. Girls just coming up, staring at us. Hey, do you have any money?
Yeah,
it's very intrusive.
It's very, very intrusive. I spent a bit of time in Latin America. People will grab you, be like, hey, give me some money, such and such. You would never get that here. Even amongst people who are very poor, very struggling, you don't get that here. And part of it's, the tolerance for it's non-existent.
The government spends a lot in terms of security camera. That would deter someone from committing a crime. And secondly, like from a very young age, we've been told to, for example, stay by the rules, don't violate any rules, like don't commit any crimes. So I think that's probably a cultural upbringing stuff. At least in Shanghai, we were being told to stay humble.
So you think particularly where you're from, there's the concept of being humble. You don't want to stick out too much. Is that right?
Yes. Don't stick out too much, don't show off, don't be the center of attention.
Because I don't want extra attention, I'm not going to do something bad.
That's a very interesting idea too. Probably. Yeah, probably.
Maybe something there.
Yeah, maybe something there.
When I'm with my Korean wife and there are no cars in the street, I want to cross the street.
But she stops.
She stops and waits for the red light to turn green. Sometimes I think it's silly, but then we talked about it and I know it's part of the culture. You got to respect the rules.
Yeah.
But this is like a bigger thing. And maybe this is a big contributor as to why it's safer here and why Asians commit less crimes.
Do you think if you had a child, you would cross the road even if the light is red?
It's a great question. Probably not.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
Because I think I'm smart enough and mature enough to break the rules. And not every rule is good. That's also important because the flip side is, well, Hitler, right? He created rules, and following all the rules in that case create World War II. So maybe not every rule is good.
But this one is good.
But this one is good.
I need to train myself to be able to educate my children to follow the rules, and because it's for their safety.
The downside of this rule following could be like you're just following any crazy leader, right? Do you think Germany also had this issue?
Germany.
Too much rule following.
Germany definitely had a problem with that. You can obviously see that it got better because there's not just like one person. But like she said, it's a lot. You have to stick to the system a lot. Like
in Germany,
we've got rules for everything.
During wartime, people can obediently obey bad rules, bad laws, and you can see this maybe in North Korea, wartime Japan in World War II, right? People just obediently obey a dictator or maybe an evil government, right?
Yeah.
That instead of dissenting, which is maybe more of a thing that would happen in individualistic societies.
Asia is more like, there's more of like a group mentality. You don't want to stick out necessarily.
And being a criminal is sticking out.
Kinda, yeah.
Can I ask you a spicy question?
Go ahead.
Do you ever feel like there's a negative image of Asians in the US that they're easy to take advantage of? They're naive.
Yes.
Yes, tell me about
that. Asian males, especially, not females, but Asian males are pretty much at the bottom of the hierarchy in a Western culture. Like, we're seen as
like the dating hierarchy, or what hierarchy is
every
this?
hierarchy. Like, we're seen as the ones who are nerds, who are who are afraid to show off themselves, who are less talkative, and who are just like on the very, very outside of society. So that definitely negatively harmed our image because we're less exposed and we're less integrated into society, I would say.
You think that's changing at all?
Nowadays, more of my friends, more of the people I know, the Asians, we're becoming more like trying to integrate ourselves into society to like make more friends, like being participating in every sports. So yeah, I'll say it's improving,
All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. Did you enjoy it? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Sean, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. There he is. Yo, man, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
Hey, good to see you.
오랜만이야. 진짜 오랜만이야.
뭐 하고 있었어?
기다리고 있었지.
Let's sit down on the stairs here and talk for a bit.
Alright.
So I know you speak Korean really well. In fact, I've interviewed you a few times in Korean.
시간 있을 때 뭐 하는 걸 좋아해?
뭐 아까 얘기했듯이 친구랑 만나서 간단하게 소박하게 소주 한 잔 한다든지.
But just one last time, can you introduce yourself in Korean?
안녕하세요. 저는 이제 미국에서 온 션이라고 합니다. 제가 이제 한국에서 산 지가 한 5년 정도 된 것 같고요. 근데 한국말 배운 지가 그보다 조금 더 오래된 것 같습니다. 한 8년 정도?
Sean is part of the Filipino fencing national team. Later in the video, we'll talk about why he came to Korea. Are you Korean?
I'm not Korean. I'm American. More specifically, Filipino American.
So your Korean's incredible. What's one thing you wish you knew when you were just starting to learn Korean?
To just accept things that you don't understand, even if you don't understand them right away. In order for us humans to understand something that we don't know, we have to learn it systematically. And so sometimes we get stuck in the systematic way of trying to learn things step by step. And if this one thing doesn't match something that I learned in the classroom, we get kind of confused and frustrated over that one thing, and we kind of, obsess over it. But from the perspective of learning a language over 8 years, the thing that helped me most was just to accept it. If they speak that way and they use this certain word or the certain grammar, just follow along, do it yourself, and then you'll get the hang of it, you'll get like the feel of it in like not even a week or two. And if it's wrong, then someone will correct you.
That's such a great point, Sean, because when learning a language, especially when you're like in that beginner or intermediate phase and you're just starting to talk to native speakers, they're gonna say words that you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be really good at like piecing together what they're trying to say, what they're saying. Kind of like looking at a puzzle that doesn't have all the puzzle pieces in there yet, right?
Yeah.
So you're zooming out and you're like, I think I know what they're saying, right? I know the topic, I know 70% of the words, so I can just kind of guess what they're trying to say. A lot of people get really intimidated or they lose confidence because they don't understand 100%. But becoming very fluent means accepting that you're not going to understand everything all the time. And I think that's why like learning languages is so good for your brain, because your ability to guess and put the puzzle pieces together and sometimes be wrong, but that's okay because you're still gonna learn. But really try to see the bigger picture of what they're saying. You get better and better and better at it.
100% agreed.
And we're gonna be sharing a lot of tips in this video of like language learning and the right mindset and good habits and practices. For all you watching right now, you don't have to follow everything all at once. That's a bit too overwhelming. If you can take some tips here and there that work for you, that's definitely a success, right? So just take whatever works for you, and I'm sure even just using some of the tips in this video are going to improve your English. So how do you keep going with your Korean study even when progress feels slow? You've hit like a slump, you're like, I'm just not improving. It feels really slow.
When I was in Seogang University and I was listening to my lectures that are in Korean and about Korean language and literature, I had a hard time, trying to understand the professor as well, but I sat up in the front of class, I always kept a recording, and then I would put that recording into a speech-to-text AI program. And so I would go over and I'd look at every word that she was saying and then what I understood and what she was actually saying. And going back and forth and comparing those, that's one of the ways to get out of that slump, especially if you're struggling with listening or speaking in general.
So someone like watching this, to take that advice, could like look at subtitles, right, on a movie or on a YouTube video and study scripts like this. They could look on YouTube. In fact, all YouTube videos have the show transcript button. You can copy that, put it into ChatGPT, or just copy it into a Microsoft Word file and look word for word at what is being said so that you have the visual, you get that double input, and you can exactly find the words you don't know. That could be something very actionable that someone could do, right?
Yes, definitely. And that's what I'm kind of, jealous about of, the new AI generation.
We didn't have that.
Yeah, we didn't have
that, yeah.
And there's so many tools to learn a language 10 times faster than there were 8 years ago.
Now is the best time to learn a language. If you're learning English, I'm so jealous of you. Definitely utilize this kind of stuff. Yeah. All right, you want to take a walk?
Let's go.
Cicadas in Korea are really loud, right, Sean?
They're freaking noisy, man.
Do we have cicadas in the US?
Yeah, we do. We have cicadas in the US. They are nature's alarm.
Nice. So Sean, what do you do when you're just too tired to study, but you just want to stay consistent with your improvement?
I just have a conversation, honestly. I think conversation is the most natural and most fun way to, practice and learn a language.
I love that. That's such a good point because there is some use for system and like learning new grammar and stuff. There is use for that. But sometimes you just need to do something that's just fun. Having a conversation is such a fun thing to do, but it also helps you to improve. So an example might be like if you're a dancer and you're just constantly learning new dance moves and you're learning routines, yeah, that's useful and that's going to help you to be a better dancer. But sometimes you just got to go to the club and dance, right? And enjoy it and use the tool that you're learning for something fun. And that's kind of what I hear you saying. Would you agree?
Yes, exactly. I love the club analogy. You actually want to, have the enjoyment and the thrill of actually using what you're learning.
So what can a beginner do to kind of enjoy going to the club and dancing? What can they do to put the book down for a day and enjoy the actual language as something to have fun with?
Even if you're not 100% fluent, even if you're 1% fluent at speaking English, just go for it. You don't have to be 100% fluent. You can make mistakes. You can just go for it. And if you're not confident enough to even have a conversation, try and listen to other people's conversations, try and guess what they're saying, or maybe, just turn subtitles off on what you're watching. Just go freestyle. You know what I'm saying?
It's nice. So if you're like not confident enough to actually talk to people yet, you can maybe just like find some content that you already enjoy and just try to watch it.
Maybe just even turn the subtitles off and just try and listen. It's like,
okay, if you're gonna design a 30-day study plan, just loosely off the top of your head, for someone learning a new language, whether it's Korean or English, what is going to be in your 30-day study plan for them?
One thing I did when I was learning Korean for the first time, if I learned a new grammar rule, I would write a diary about it. So I would be like, for example, I learned XX grammar. I would use XX grammar in my diary.
What grammar? Give me an example.
One thing that I had a hard time trying to grasp a concept about was 뭐뭐 했잖아, 뭐뭐 했잖아요. I wasn't sure what the nuance was about that. I'd search it on Google, and then I would see the appropriate situation to use it in, and I would write my diary using that grammar.
So you're saying, okay, you should learn a new grammar form, new grammar point every day. You should learn new words every day because you're trying to improve. But in your study plan, you would have people write a journal with the new grammar that they're learning. For example, if you're learning English and you're learning the grammar form used to, like I used to play guitar or I used to do gymnastics, you would write a journal about your childhood when you used to do something, and you would try to use that grammar form as much as you could in a natural way. And these days you can run that all through ChatGPT and ask it, is my journal natural? Can you help me improve my journal? So these are some tools you can use. Is there anything else that people would do in this 30 days to help them improve in language?
And so one of the things that I really thought helped me, especially in listening, was active listening. So we would have a script, actually. This is for people whose listening or speaking skills are still in its beginning stages. You would learn and memorize the script for both speaker A and speaker B, and you would perform that with the teacher.
That's nice. So maybe someone listening to this video, they could find an easy dialogue with an A-B speaker, and they would learn both parts, both A and B part of the easy dialogue.
Yes, correct. Learn both the A and B part of the easy dialogue, and then try and recite it with another Korean learner or with a native speaker. Practice listening to the A part, and then practice speaking the A part, and then practice listening to the B part, and then practice speaking the B part.
The beauty of dialogues is that they teach you what to say in certain situations, right? So it's like a dialogue about people eating or ordering at a restaurant, right? Well, if there's like a waiter and the person ordering, well, that would be directly applicable for me when I'm in a restaurant and I'm ordering, right? So that is the beauty of dialogues.
Yes.
Hey man, it's kind of hot. Do you want to go to a cafe and get a cool drink?
Yes, I'm sweating like crazy right now.
Let's do it.
여러분 잠시만요. 영어가 정말로 필요할 때 자신 있게 쓸 수 있나요? 진짜 목적은 여행하고 외국인과 대화하고 영어로 먹고 사는 거 아닌가요? 근데 왜 아직도 우리는 비동사, 현재 완료 진행형 같은 실생활에선 쓰지도 않은 문법 이름만 배우고 있을까요? 이제는 진짜 상황에 대비해야죠. 제가 직접 만든 Real 영어 강의, 미국인 션의 살아있는 영어 패키지가 필요할 때입니다. 레스토랑이랑 카페에서 주문하기, 공항에서 유심을 살 때, 입국 심사를 통과할 때, 실제로 상황, 실제로 원어민과 대화할 때 어떤 표현을 써야 하는지 하나하나 알려드리고 제가 직접 그 상황들에서 어떻게 대처하는지도 더 영상으로 생생하게 보여드립니다. 그리고 수강하시면 이런 시리즈도 함께 드립니다. 지금 이 영상을 보시는 분들께만 드리는 특별 혜택,
할인 코드 Real English 입력 시 15% 할인.
왕초보도 환영입니다. 아래 링크를 눌러서 무료 수업 먼저 체험해보세요. 궁금한 점은 카카오톡으로 언제든지 물어보세요.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
So, Sean, why did you originally come to Korea?
It's a long story, but when I started fencing for the first time in the United States, my first coach was actually ex-Korean national team. And so he had only moved to America for about a year and a half. So what he liked to do with his students, including me, was to bring them to Korea once a year for training. What I realized when I was training here in Korea is that everyone gives their 100%. Everyone trains really hard. And that really elevates the average skill of every individual fencer here. And so I think I kind of realized that if I were to live here and I were to train, I would become really, really good. And I feel like my skills would become better. And so that's what kind of motivated me to start speaking Korean and start learning Korean in order to prepare myself to try and live here and try and fence here.
What's your biggest tip for sounding natural when you speak Korean?
Not pronunciation, surprisingly. Some people think that it's pronunciation that, makes a person sound natural, but I think it's more intonation. The tone, like the fall and rise of your voice, where you say it.
Stresses.
Yes, stresses as well.
Can you give me an example in Korean of the wrong stress and the right stress?
For example, you would come into class and your teacher would be like, "You didn't do your homework, did you? 너 숙제 안 했지?" But if you feel that it was an unfair accusation towards you because you actually did do homework, you would say, 나 했거든요? In that intonation, for going from a low to a high rising intonation to, describe your unfair situation or your unfair emotions.
Okay, so maybe the wrong intonation would be 저는 했거든요.
Correct. That would be the wrong intonation.
Right. Even though the pronunciation is fine.
Yes.
It doesn't match the situation. So the equivalent in English might be if your teacher was like, "You didn't do your homework, did you?" You would respond with something like, "Actually, I did do my homework." You would have to stress the did, right? So this is all outside of the realm of pronunciation, but more like you're saying on intonation. In English, when you're speaking, stress is extremely important. But instead, if you said something like, "Actually, I did do my homework," "Actually, I did do my homework," you stressed homework, it would sound very weird. Okay, so how does someone improve their intonation?
I think that's one of the reasons why people say dramas, watching these are helpful to them, is because they're following the exaggerated intonations, which moves over to everyday conversation.
So you're saying a good way to improve your intonation would be to watch dramas, like Netflix dramas or Hollywood movies.
Yes.
And notice the conversations that the two actors are having, and you can try shadowing them, repeating exactly what they're saying.
Of course, you have to do this consciously. You have to have a notebook and you have to write, what they're doing. You can't just shadow and hope that your brain will automatically sort the context, sort when you're going to need to do it. You would have to be conscious about your practice.
Makes sense. It would be really helpful if you had the script too, I think.
And then there's going to be those aha moments where you just something clicks and, oh yeah, I've heard that before in real life. And you're hearing it as well in the drama or the Netflix show that you're watching. And oh yeah. And then from that moment, you can say it's yours.
What was your favorite drama for doing this in Korean?
DP. It's a Korean drama that focuses on military police catching people who escape from their mandatory and military service in Korea. The acting and the way that people talk and, the exaggerations and the intonations really helped me to step up another level, I think.
That's amazing. And I think that's a really good drama for you too, because it's a lot of young men.
Correct.
And you're a young man.
Yes, I am a young man.
And I think it's really important for you to shadow people that are in your similar demographic.
Yes.
So if you're like a 25-year-old woman, it's definitely better to shadow, if you're learning American English, a young American woman that's in her 20s, yes. Right? More than like a 45-year-old man or a 65-year-old man. That's not really as helpful. So for you, the drama you watch was probably way more helpful for you.
Bingo. That's a big one.
What's a common mistake a lot of Koreans make when speaking or studying English that they can probably fix easily?
Not putting in filler words.
Give me an example.
Instead of, stuttering at the beginning of a sentence, you can always put in the word,
kinda, like, sorta, maybe.
Yes. And I think that's the way that, you know, a lot of native speakers register you as a native speaker as well, which is, you know, is everyone's end goal to sound like a native speaker. And so that's one of the tools that I think that a lot of Koreans miss because they're always trying to speak perfect.
Yeah, right. So native speakers also use these filler words when thinking and speaking because maybe you don't have everything organized perfectly in your brain when you're speaking with someone, so you need a little bit of time to think and organize your thoughts. The Korean equivalent would be what?
있잖아. 약간 뭐라고 해야 될까?
Any final thoughts?
Breaks here and there are okay, but I'd say that instead of break, I didn't take any breaks personally. Even when I felt kind of gassed out from speaking, I just like listened to a podcast continuously. You know?
Right. So just all angles. You're listening to podcasts, you're listening to shows, you're listening to music, you're talking with friends, you're studying in books, you're going to school, you're talking to the cafe barista, right?
Yeah.
So studying a language in as many different ways and angles as you can to keep mixing it up, to keep it fresh. One day you do 2 hours of speaking, the next day you're a little bit tired, but in order to keep the consistency, you just listen to a podcast. You listen to something easy that you can kind of relax to and listen to. You're still getting the studying in, but you're kind of giving yourself a bit of a break. And the more you study and the more you improve in that language, the better your kind of listening material can be. For example, you can listen to more difficult material while taking a break.
Correct. It's always consistency. Consistency is key, and I think that goes for anything in life. When I was really I didn't want to have a conversation with anyone, or I wasn't in a mood to talk, I would literally just go home, put on my headphones, listen to a podcast while playing like a game or something.
A Korean podcast.
Yeah, a Korean podcast.
That's cool,
yes,
man.
Yeah. And then, you know, if I felt kind of detached from the language or I wasn't really interacting enough, I'd actively look for someone to speak with, like maybe on pen pal applications where you can call with someone who's trying to learn English, and someone who's trying to learn English can call with you.
So when listening to podcasts, like what percentage should I aim to understand?
At the least 30% to 40% of the podcast would be a normal percentage.
So you're more of the belief that not understanding the majority of it is okay. Because other people say 50 to 70% is a good range, but for you, you're comfortable just diving in at 30 to 40%.
Yeah, even if you can't understand it. That's what I did in the beginning as well.
And that worked for you?
Yeah, and it worked for me as well. And I just took what I could, and then, you know, if I had more basis on listening and hearing after 2 weeks of training it, then I'd come back and then I'd understand more. And so,
what about a beginner?
Maybe a podcast might be a bit difficult, I would assume.
Yeah, but good for intermediate. What about like kids' cartoons?
Yes, kids' cartoons would be very, very good, especially for beginners, because the grammar, the tone, and the speed of the voice as well would be all accustomed or attuned to a child, yes.
Yeah, when I was learning Korean and I was a beginner, I listened to Pororo.
Pororo.
You know that?
Pororo 알지.
It was actually really helpful, and I learned words like 친구 and like 알, which is like an egg.
Yeah.
Because they were looking for eggs or something. And I learned like the sentence 뽀로로 뭐 하는 거야?
뽀로로 뭐 하는 거야?
And I was like, wow, that's what people say. That's what native speakers say, right?
Yeah.
But it was geared for young Korean children who are actually also learning Korean.
Correct.
Just the same way I'm learning Korean. Maybe something in English could be like Peppa Pig.
Yes. Dora the Explorer, I would recommend 100% to you.
It's a great one for learning English.
They're always asking, hey, can you find the blank, blank, blank?
Right.
Do you know where the blank, blank, blank is?
Right.
And so there are a lot of Q&A, a lot of, can you do this? Can you find this? And they're repeating the word slowly several times so you can hear it.
All right, cool, man. Let's enjoy the rest of this lemonade, and then maybe we can head out. What do you say?
Yes.
All right, bro. It was so fun talking with you today.
It was great.
Yep.
It was great.
Yep.
Nice seeing you.
See you next time.
See you next time, man.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. Did you enjoy it? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Sean, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, everybody. I'm Sean, and welcome to Philosophy Today. I'm your host, and today I'm here with the distinguished guest, Chad Miller. Chad, how are you today?
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for having me today. It's great to be back, and I'm looking forward to our discussion today.
Excellent. My first question for you is it always wrong to lie?
It's a tough question, Sean. I feel like there are some situations where lying might be an acceptable option, but I don't know. It really comes down to like morals, I think. We see so many things about lying in places like religion. I think it just depends on the person. What about you? What do you think? Just like base level, do you think it's okay to lie sometimes?
I think so. But I think it's really important to distinguish when it's absolutely unacceptable to lie versus maybe these gray areas. Let's look at first when it's absolutely unacceptable to lie. For example, like compulsive liars. So someone who just gets a kick out of lying. Hey, John, what'd you do last summer? Last summer I went to Alaska and I hunted, polar bears. There's nothing to gain. You just get a thrill out of lying.
Sure.
I think that only degrades the person who is lying, their soul, their morality, their
integrity.
Their integrity, and their self-worth, because they know they're lying.
Okay, yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think when there's no benefit, you're not trying to protect anybody, you're not doing this for anybody's benefit but your own, I feel like that's sort of an unacceptable reason to lie. Why? What is the reason for doing this other than for greed or for personal benefit?
Right. So when else is it totally unacceptable to lie?
I think when you deliberately cause harm to other people, when
deliberate cause of harm.
Yeah, deliberate cause of harm. And so compulsive liars, they just lie for kicks, right? They just do it because they want to lie, right? But other people maybe are like they maliciously lie.
Yeah.
They lie
deceiving someone.
Yeah, they deceive somebody like in order to do harm to somebody, right?
Yeah.
And it's to me that is unacceptable, especially when it comes to emotions. And so maybe somebody will lie and say that, oh, they love somebody or they hate somebody, but it's not true. It's a lie. And it like deliberately deceives the person into believing that. It's almost like gaslighting a little bit, right? They deliberately deceive the person into thinking that they feel one way, only to maybe reveal later that they never felt that way at all. Yeah. And this to me is sort of an unacceptable reason to deceive, to lie.
For example, hey, I can help you to become a better actor. And just follow my advice and follow my teachings and I will help you. However, I've never acted in my entire life.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get this position, this job, and I'm lying to you in order to benefit myself, in order to make money. Of course, maybe you'll figure out one day that I am not an actor or I've never acted in my life, but I've already gained money from you. I've already gotten paid from you, and then I could just run away or something like that.
Okay. So, I mean, in a word, fraud.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you commit fraud, that is essentially just like lying on an epic scale that only has personal benefit, right? You are telling people something when there's no basis in reality, right? Like you said, I will teach you to be a better actor, but I have zero experience doing it. And so you mislead people, you deceive people into...
For your own personal gain.
Yeah, sure. They're going to pay you money or they're going to invest time and feelings and maybe money into you, only to be let down, right? Only to be let down, to be deceived, to be taken advantage of. Yeah, and so I think I would agree with that. That's definitely an unacceptable time to lie.
Maybe another time would be like if a blind man walks up to you and says, can you help me pick out the $1 bill from my wallet and so that I can get on the bus?
Yes.
And you count his money and you're like, use this $1 bill, and then you take a $100 bill.
Okay.
And you're like, there you go, sir. Have a nice day.
Sure.
So you take a blind man's money and he's like, you didn't take my money, did you? Because I can't see if you did. And you're like, no, I wouldn't do that. And you actually did take his money, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I think this sort of like leads into that sort of like moral bankruptcy that I mentioned at the beginning, right? You lie because you have like you don't have any morals. You can't distinguish between what is good and what is bad. And so you sort of lie in order to benefit yourself.
I think lying is also really bad for relationships as well.
This is where I think things get a little like murky. This is where I feel like there's gray areas.
Okay.
Like in a relationship, the girl asks you, do I look fat in this outfit, in this dress, in whatever, right? It's sort of that moment as the boyfriend, as the husband, as the significant other, right? Where it's sort of like, okay, do I tell them the truth? Maybe they do look fat, right? Maybe they do. Do you spare their feelings by lying to them? Or are you completely honest and possibly suffer the consequences of being completely honest with them? And so this is one of those areas where I'm kind of like, I feel like there's no correct answer here. You could lie to them and, sort of spare feelings, keep things smooth, or you could possibly cause conflict by being completely honest with them and being like, well, it's maybe not the most flattering dress on you, and then maybe they get offended and it leads to more conflict, right?
I would agree.
Yeah. And so this is one of those areas where I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe it is okay to lie. They're not going to feel bad. I'm not going to start a fight, right? And so it's sort of a win-win situation, but there's no like deliberate harm being done in this case by lying, right? I'm not trying to deceive you into thinking that you look so incredibly thin for my own gain. It's just a win-win. I'm trying to spare your feelings, and I also sort of prevent a fight for myself.
Another example might be like if you have a young son or daughter and they're like, Daddy, come listen to me play piano.
Okay.
And they practiced all day on this song.
Sure.
And it sounds good for a 5-year-old.
Sure, yeah.
For a 5-year-old.
Right.
You would never listen to that in your free time to relax, because why would you? It's a 5-year-old,
Sure,
right?
right.
So when they're like, oh, how was it? You should say to that kid, that was amazing. You worked so hard on that.
So well.
You're so much better than you were yesterday because you practiced 5 hours today on this song. You were amazing. Was it amazing? Objectively? Probably not. But actually, in this case, I think it would be slightly evil to be like, that was not good.
Yeah, right.
I would never listen to that. You're actually not lying.
You're not lying,
But
right.
you're not helping the child.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So in this case, it's better to lie.
Yeah, right. This is one of those things where like it gets murky, because are you lying to cause deliberate harm? Are you telling the truth and gonna cause deliberate harm? Right? If you're completely honest with the child, son, that was terrible. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're like deliberately causing harm by being completely honest with them. It's gonna make them feel bad, almost on purpose.
They might even quit.
They might even quit, yeah. And so you sort of have to think about the consequence of what a lie might cause. If we're going to tell the truth, what's going to be the consequence of that truth? Or what's going to be the consequence of that lie?
Great point, Chad. What will be the consequence?
Yeah.
That is a great criteria on whether to deem a lie harmful or what we say white lie.
Other examples of white lies also include, you mentioned children, right? Are things like the tooth fairy, or Santa Claus, these myths, these fairy tale characters that we often believe as children. And it's sort of like, if you're completely honest with them at such a young age, when they believe in Santa Claus or the tooth fairy or whoever, then you sort of like steal their innocence a little bit by being completely honest with them, right? And so we want to sort of shield their feelings a little bit from these absolute truths at such a young age, right? But I feel like maybe as you grow, some of these white lies we tell when they are children, they can sort of handle the truth at a certain point as well, right? Maybe we should adopt that stance for other white lies we tell also, maybe about being honest with our significant others about if they look fat or not. It's sort of like learn to be okay with the brutal honesty of if certain articles of clothing make you look good or bad. Would you rather hear the truth from your significant other about if this outfit makes you look good? Or do you want them to lie to you, and everybody that's going to see you hours later is going to be thinking, oh, that really doesn't look good?
Well, sometimes your partner might need to hear, hey, you should go to the gym.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this, I mean, these are like, sometimes we say brutal honesty.
Yeah. Painful truths.
Painful truths. Brutal honesty is sometimes great. It's a very nuanced thing, lying, right? Like white lies and the scale of the lie, the consequence of the lie, I think is something people really have to consider when they either tell the truth or tell a lie.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Philosophy Today. Once again, I'm Sean.
And I'm Chad.
See you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.